Hello, gamers. Today we are talking about the knight. And one of the things about this class is that starting at third level, a knight with sufficient money, says here in parentheses on page 65 of the Old School Essentials Advanced Players book, with sufficient money, can build a castle or stronghold and control the surrounding lands. The permission of the neats. Oh my goodness, what is this, Monty Python? Nee. The permission of the knight's liege is always required. Okay. A knight may be granted a title such as baron or baroness. Then the land under the knight's control would be known as a barony. All right, third level. I mean, if you had enough money. So, some of you characters out there are very, very ambitious, and this is a good thing. We've got players who are wanting to commission skyships. We've got characters that are wanting to build castles, like already. There's at least one person who's looking to raise an army because they'd like to conquer a country, control a nation. This is happening. This stuff is... Anyway, so... the knight character class, I mean, if you were interested in... Now, all characters eventually, in the old school style system that we use, Old School Essentials, all characters could eventually, control land. Now, it's not required. At this point, back when this kind of stuff was happening in the name brand version of our favorite game, Dungeons and Dragons, back in the 70s and 80s, a little bit into the 90s, before, a certain company got control of the brand and they kind of started cutting this stuff out. There was a dimension to the game if you wanted it. Not everybody necessarily wants to. If you controlled land, you'd be collecting taxes from peasants, and then you'd be spending. And the game could eventually become like Sim City, or like... Settlers of Catan, or like Minecraft. Like, you'd eventually have resources on your land, and then you'd have to, excavate those resources or produce those resources. I mean, not everything's excavated out of the ground like a mine. Some resources are, crops. Some resources are animals. And then of course turn those into it eventually could end up being like Sid Meier's Civilization, or like Settlers of Catan, or something like that, or Sim City. Now, this may not be your style of game. So if it's not your style of game, then just don't. You could still wander around and be an adventurer. But one of the things that you may have heard me kind of rant about on this YouTube channel a lot is that the people in control of the name brand version of our favorite game right now, they've totally ignored this aspect of the game. And they just kind of keep writing as if a 20th level fighter is going to be wandering around from quest giver to quest giver, the same way they did when they were first level. As if they're not going to put down any roots, they're not going to affect the world. They're not going to necessarily, get involved in anything going on. No politics, no cause to give back to the community. Even if you were a completely greedy or power-hungry person, if you had enough money to build a castle, why wouldn't you? And of course, that castle is going to need to be mapped, and that castle would need guards. The guards would probably have to be paid. Again, however much responsibility that you want to handle, that's up to you. But the knight is geared. I mean, at third level, this is already open to the knight. Now, the knight, in Old School Essentials, I think the reason it's there is because in first edition, starting with the first edition Unearthed Arcana, they had a character class called the Cavalier, which was very knightly, but was not necessarily the same as the Paladin. So the Paladin is tomorrow. For those Paladin fans out there that have been wondering where the Paladin is on this list of character types, the Paladin comes up tomorrow. But the Knight, another interesting thing about the Knight in Old School Essentials, starting at 5th level, Knights learn how to train fantastic flying monsters as mounts. It takes a month of game downtime. In general, a knight may train flying monsters of hit dice at most equal to the knight's level. So there's some kind of limit somewhere. The use and training of flying mounts as mounts, the use and training of flying monsters as mounts is at the referee's discretion, because not everything's suitable. Not everything's gonna take to that kind of treatment. But yeah, in the world of Mystara, which is the main world for our Loft project, but also in other nearby worlds, griffins and hippogriffs and hippogriffs. Oh my goodness. Okay, just can't talk today. Griffins and hippogriffs and pegasi and things like that have been used as flying mounts. And then, of course, there are dragon riders, but that's not necessarily because you tamed the dragon. That's a whole nother thing. So we might get to a video about dragon riders at some point. But anyway, the knight is a thing. If you're interested in playing a knight or anything else with us, there are links in the doodly-doo below. Our website is gameshopsbasement.com or grumpyoldgms.com. There you'll find a link to our Discord server. Right now we have open gaming hours open from 6 p.m. to midnight Central Daylight Time. And I got to get ready for tonight's game, as a matter of fact. So next month we'll be appearing on June 24th at a one-day mini convention in St. Clair, Missouri. There's a link in the doodly-doo below as well. That is put on by the GEA, the Gaming Entertainment Agency. And let's see, anything else needed to let you know? I put out one of these videos every day. If there's any other kind of announcement, I'll be sure to get to it tomorrow. So stay tuned tomorrow for the Paladin. In the meantime, I'll see you around the gaming table.